2 doors down. Pete lives in the neighbors, so I see them sometimes. And
I hear your dogs go over to their house.
Oh my gosh, yes.
But not deliberate. So I have a dog.
We have 2 dogs.
And then we have one that's really smart. It's, these are golden doodles, but this one's more poodle than doodle, so than golden.
Than retriever.
So very smart.
Yeah.
Knows how to open the door. So one day, I think Pete and his family were just sitting around watching television, and they keep their front door open because they have cats, which I never took Pete for a cat guy, but cats.
Oh my God.
And so, and anyway, and my dog just walked into their living room, looked around, realized I'm in the wrong house, and turned around and walked out. So,
but yes, so our dog does open the door, many doors.
Now the flip side of it is that one of Pete's cats, oftentimes I'll get home at night and the cat is just sitting on my porch and just looks at me like, what are you doing here? Like that kind of attitude.
Well, it's Gen cats. It's Gen. It's the kids. The kids wanted an animal, so they ended up having
But the cat is a very
There's a lot of cats.
Yeah, because
It's
I mean,
an
there's a lot of kids.
To be honest, it's a very arrogant cat.
There's a lot
because
of
the cat
kids.
is on my porch acting like, what are you doing in my house? And it's like, your house is 2 doors down. Man. But
can I just say something about this couple?
How you approach it takes this.
Yeah.
They, to me, and this is just my take on it, they seem much more American and normal than J.D. Vance and his wife. These two as a couple seem far more relatable and hip to me than the other couple.
Sure. Well, she's kind of like a Southern beauty queen herself.
Dude, she was a cheerleader for the Dolphins, for Christ's sake.
Yeah,
So the Southern beauty queen. I mean, this seems like a much more Americana couple of the president and the first lady than I think. And look, whatever happens, but I see them and I can relate more to them than I can to J.D. Vance and his wife, his Indian wife.
Yeah, I can see that. And also in the interview, they talked about Marco's dietary concerns, how he thought RFK was there. And she's like, he likes Pop-Tarts.
Right.
And he's like, hey, that's a sacred food. So you can't get much more American. I mean, hell, Jerry Seinfeld did an entire movie on Pop-Tarts. For whatever reason. I don't think it's...
I think they've caught each other now in the poly market race. I think they're about tied, Rubio and Vance in poly market.
Could be. We'll see how it all goes down. But while we're in Florida, since he is the Florida senator, first headline: Florida Act bans children from attending drag shows.
Yeah, this has been a court battle for a while. This is torn from the headlines where we don't have the music this week for reasons that I don't understand. But nevertheless, I will continue onward without the lifelong torn from the headlines musical moment.
Oh, okay, hold on. We
I'm really disoriented.
The trauma that Mark is suffering here.
The music usually triggers. Oh, thank you. That's much better now. Now back to the show. If you put that article up, this has been in the courts for a while, and DeSantis has been pushing this and was finally victoriously appealed to the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals yesterday, that has now ruled that DeSantis was correct, banning children from these pornographic drag shows. And believe me, this Hamburger Mary's trans nightclub fought it to the death. But there's no appeal to the Supreme Court on this because they tried that before and were rejected by the Supreme Court. So this move by DeSantis, quite well thought out apparently, and now they wanted the kids to come to the drag shows, and the kids were coming to the drag shows. You and I have shown videos of these kids in Hamburger Mary's, which is the drag show capital of Florida apparently. And now, just through common sense, these are now adult shows. That's all. No, there's nobody violating anybody's First Amendment rights. They're not stopping the shows. They're not hindering the shows. They're simply saying this is an adults-only type format, which was commonsensically being used until the Twistos got a hold of it and saw there was no law. So they took advantage of that loophole.
Yeah, of course. And I mean, obviously, they've been trying to shove it to the kids every way they could. A drag queen story hour. at all the libraries and stuff like that. So DeSantis is very good at managing and pushing legislation and just getting shit done. So I'm going to give the guy credit for anything. That's it. He is a guy who
he's stuck with this.
He gets it done.
He manipulated this thing perfectly through the court system, and he needs to have a tip of the hat for that.
Yeah, and by the way, on that note, because
it's called the Protection of Children Act, by the way.
Right, but this is how good he is, because he brought Disney to heel.
Yep.
And you can't bring Disney to heel in Florida that easily when they are such a major point of commerce. But they've had to change their whole structure. He took away their, some of their law enforcement type of things because they were acting almost like their own city and things like that. And he's pushed them hard. But all right, next story, coming home of age, fewer leave nest.
Yeah, it seems like 49% of 18 to 29-year-olds are still living with their parents in the basement. That's a huge chunk of American society. They don't have jobs. They live in the basement. They need support, according to the article. Like I said, 18 to 29, and they don't have money and are being supported financially while living with them. It's not just living with the parents. It's in addition. It says that the parents are financially helping them out on top of that.
Yeah, but I mean, this has been kind of moving to the state for a while. Like, we've been talking about, going outside, what we had as a childhood, like becoming 16 was my most important birthday in my life for the longest time, because I could get a driver's license and I could have a car. That car would lead to independence. That independence from who? From my parents. My car was like a roaming house. I don't know about you, but a lot of people went through this. Now they're kind of, a lot of kids aren't even bothering to get a driver's license. Why would they leave the home? Because they're so used to mom and dad, taking them wherever, covering for them. They could do anything they want online. All their friends are on Facebook and stuff like that. They just go online and talk to them there. And I think this is just another symptom of a larger problem. And it is taking longer for them to get out. And there is the other problem of there are a lot of starter homes, and they're not as able to jump in and buy their own house and things like that. Some of them have kind of given up hope. So I don't know. It's dark. What is this cellar dweller scare?
Well, you buy a house or you rent a house and you move in and you hear a noise underneath the porch of this house that you have now moved into with your family. And underneath the porch, what they found was an entire family living beneath the porch.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Cellar dweller scare. So they rented.
Is this one of those separate cellars that you have to go into it from the outside? So they might have been.
Well, nobody knows because they were living underneath the porch. Sharnita Matthews, who lives there with her husband and kids, said she had never been told about the space beneath the property when she signed the rental papers. She contacted Pro Management, the company that manages the home, but said she received no response. The Hemet, this is in Hemet, which is the Scientology base, by the way, Hemet, California, out in the high desert. The Hemet Police Department sent an officer to investigate after Matthews reported that the family had been found underneath the porch. They said that if you see anybody down there, to call them back. Anyway, I thought that was almost equivalent to the snake story, or at least creepier to a lot of people than normal.
It's creepy, but I'm going to say the snake still's ahead.
Okay, let's continue then. We may have some other winners.
All right, let's see. All right, Donnie Cash Suit.
Yeah, this is the producer of Donnie Darko getting ripped off. Adam Fields, a pretty famous producer out here, claims that, he did Breakfast Club, Vision Quest. he's suing that he has been denied his share of Donnie Darko royalties for 25 years, which might end up being quite a bit of money. I guess he's been waiting for the check. Fields questions how a movie made in 28 days for $4.5 million has failed to turn a profit despite more than 2 decades of commercial exploitation. The movie was relatively inexpensive at 4.5 mil and has made a lot of money over the years, and yet he has still not seen a royalty check or a percentage of the profits as a producer with his piece of the back end. Fields signed a deal in 2000 entitling him to 4% of the film's net, not the gross, but the net, plus a bonus for helping put together the movie. According to the lawsuit, Donnie Darko starred Jake Gyllenhaal, Drew Barrymore, Patrick Swayze, and then newcomer Seth Rogen. This guy, it's kind of a funny thing because the rule of thumb is you got to get gross, not net. But at some point, net has got to wear off when they recoup. Right. So this is a test of net profits. And it's a very interesting case out here because of people ending up with net profit deals that are meaningless, according to everyone who's ever gotten one. But this guy's taken it to court. Yeah,
the famous Hollywood accounting, right?
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. He's challenging that net profit accounting and going to legally challenge it, which is the first time I've ever heard of that.
Good. I hope he's got enough to drag it through because discovery will be a delight. If they
it's not a question of discovery, which it is. It's also a question of, like you said, the economic bookkeeping. And they don't believe that they're illegally doing anything. They just think this is our bookkeeping. We're recouping all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. But we'll see where this goes in discovery. You're right. And he does have relatively deep pockets because he's produced a lot of movies.
See, and that's what I'm hoping for, because if it is what I think, and I'm sure there's shenanigans, they'll just say, oh, okay, here's a check, just go away. It'd be easier for them to settle. But if he's mad enough and has deep enough pockets, hopefully he'll take it all the way to trial, no matter what, just to make sure that they have to, produce everything and go through a trial and set precedent. So I don't know. I hope that he does. Oh, Jay's Mission Impossible.
I thought you'd like this. He's trying to get the state of California to suspend their emissions requirements for classic older cars that don't have that type of situation. I'm rooting for him on his $50 million car collection, by the way, that he has to go to the smog test place like I do to get smogged for these cars. I don't know how they pass. Unless he puts in catalytic converters and other things into these classic cars. I never understood how he could legally, and you always see him driving on the 101.
Right.
He's always out there. He was behind me one time in some Duesenberg doing like 60 miles an hour and waving to everyone. But I don't know how he makes them street worthy is what I'm saying.
Well, I think that they, at one point, and maybe that's changed, they were grandfathered in. I mean,
I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think so. I think he's actually doing something with the emissions, but I think he wants an exemption going forward.
Well, yeah. I guess a steam-powered car he could get by with.
Maybe.
Who knows? Wow. Oh, I wish him luck. I mean, subscribers toss services.
Yeah, this is what you've been talking about people getting rid of their streaming services or consolidating or eliminating overlapping streamers and other cash absorbing services.
Well, yeah, because how is it any better than the old cable bundle?
It's not.
That's
why I have cable and I have cable bundle instead.
Yeah, well, yes, there are some people, though, who literally are saying scrap it all. And I think there's more over-the-air antennas of people that are just, grabbing, signal from the air. And I'd be curious to see how well, like Tubi and Pluto and some of the free streamers are doing, if it's a viable model for them.
Well,
obviously, YouTube is the number one.
The model is really a TV model because they're free, but they're packed with commercials.
Yeah.
It's an old TV model. It's not a new idea. I mean, they keep saying Tubi and Pluto are free, which is true, but it's a regular television movie model.
Well, it is a regular television movie model, except for worse, because I believe you have a TiVo, if not TiVo, like a DVR of some kind.
Yeah.
And at least when you're recording off of cable, you can fast forward commercials as long as you start the show late enough. Tubi and Pluto, oh no.
Well, that allows them to sell commercials better.
Yeah, because you're entrapped. Huge California jobless claim.
Yeah, these numbers are dwarfing New York and Texas, Eric. It's a dagger to the heart of Gavin Newsom. 86%
higher than the national average.
That's insane.
Wow.
I mean, look at this, 342,000 versus 168, 153, New York and Texas, the two comparable size states.
Yeah, it's the national average is 1,027. You've got almost 2,000 for every 100,000. That's awful.
Yeah, it looks double.
Yeah. Oof. Well, welcome to California.
Yeah.
New body, not the missing mom. What?
Again, this is a good one. The human remains have been found, thank God, in the area where the California ER nurse, Angelica Brophy, whose people have been looking for her out here. However, there's so many bodies out in the desert that they found the remains of someone else. While looking, I swear to God, while looking for Angelica Brophy, the volunteer search team found the remains of someone else in an embankment in Palma Valley. Investigators did not enter the area at the time because of harsh terrain. The mother of two was last seen when she dropped off her daughter for the summer camp July 6th. No foul play is suspected in her disappearance. She's just missing, and they're digging through the holes, and they find another woman, which they thought was her, But it's just another random dead woman on the side of a hill.
You know what this makes me think of? It's not exactly the same, but it's kind of similar as when the drought conditions were getting really bad and the lakes were shrinking, and they kept finding bodies in barrels that went all the way back to the 70s and stuff.
Yeah.
It seems almost like maybe she's in a dumping ground, or they're just finding dumping grounds, which
I don't know, but they thought they hit pay dirt when they found her, and apparently it's somebody else's remains.
Yes. All right.
Does that count against the snake story, or no?
No, snake's still winning. Sorry. Having a snake next to my head freaks me the hell out. I mean, the shark story is kind of close, but I don't know. Polls can disputes self-elimination.
Well, you could say suicide, be proud.
Yeah, I know, but then I got to cut it for later. We got the non, bit,
Okay.
So thanks a lot.
Now we can't even
cut.
speak freely over here now.
Well, we do for the surrounding stuff, but anyway, I was being lazy.
This guy Barry Christian, who's a Trump supporting Republican, District 38 in Oklahoma. They found him with a gunshot wound to the head on April 30th at the Oklahoma Office of Chief Medical Examiner. So they thought it was a self-deletion. The family disputes this. The 54-year-old's body was found by a hunter who alerted authorities. Officials were investigating whether Christian's death was staged after finding his truck riddled with bullet holes, Eric.
Sounds like a LBJ inspector
at Oklahoma, bordering on Texas. This guy was a pretty big Republican.
Wow.
Yeah, wow.
That's when I think this may need to be turned over to the feds.
Yeah, that's why I was covering the story. I agree with you.
Teachers' tears at reading fail, and we covered this earlier.
That's Darius Williams. Yeah, Darius Williams at a Wheatley High School. His Instagram account we saw.
Amazing.
And then his breakdown came days after it was revealed, which I was following this story out of New York. Students between 3rd and 5th grade failed their English language art test last school year. If you read at the school level, at the grade level that you were in, you were considered, what I was in school, to be mentally retarded. You literally had to be, and were, 5 to 6 grades above your actual grade in reading and math comprehension. That was the norm. That was the norm. The standards were so low that no one I knew in any class was anywhere near the grade level. That was considered the complete bottom of the scholastic measurement. Now, they're not even measuring to their own grade level, Eric, which is absolutely terrifying.
I agree. Completely
because
disturbing.
that standard is super, super low.
Yeah, because they've been fighting it for a while. It's like, oh, these people can't read. Well, we'll just lower the standard. And that's why I think it's so poignant what he said when he's like, essentially, I gave them the whole damn thing and they still couldn't do it.
He said he not only that, he helped them literally cheating, to help them, and to no avail.
And yeah. So attack him, of course.
Well, he spoke out. It was kind of like Bill Cosby with the baggy pants,
Or Mayor Adams with the immigration.
Yeah.
So absolutely. Yeah. It's sad about Bill Cosby because there was so much real dark shit with him that's kind of like, damn, because he brought up very valid points, but the messenger was definitely shot down there. But you all won't be shooting us down, and to help make up for my horrible short-sightedness earlier, this wraps up.
Thank you. I feel better when you do that.